Hello everybody and welcome to a new review. I've been looking forward to doing this review for nigh on a year and a half, nearly 2 years now I think these were first announced. And big thank you to Paul over at Sirtoys for hooking me up with these. He had a huge problem with the supplier. Basically he put a big order in and they had no idea these were going to be in such high demand, and they sent bits and pieces of odd sets, and he eventually got the entire set for us and shipped them out. Wow. The hype about these has been absolutely huge. If you don't already know, TFC, the third-party transformer manufacturer, was basically approached by a TV company in China to design some figures for their up-and-coming Starcats series. I believe Starcats was the prequel to Star Q. I think it was the prequel. And basically, TFC came out with these transforming dinos, which looks very, very similar to the Dinobots, and the transforming rescue bots, which I have coming in the post. They should be here next week. Basically, TFC designed them, and that was about as far as it went until this year, where the design was sold by TFC to a Chinese manufacturer, and yes, these have been mass produced, and my skepticism was high. I'd seen pictures and I thought, oh dear, they look good, but I've got a horrible feeling they're going to be Poundland plastic, and they're not. They are absolutely superb. I absolutely love them. I don't know their Chinese names at the moment. I've been trying to find out as much as I can on the Starcat series, but I know that he's Rex. That's about it. Obviously, we've got Grimlock, Slag, Sludge, Snarl, and Swoop. Yeah, they are basically the Dinobots, and I was so happy when I got these out of the bags. They were so dense and such a strong plastic, and it was such a pleasant surprise. I'm going to take a look at these figures individually. I will start with the main man himself, Grimlock. Right, here is the main man himself, Grimlock Rex Dino dude. First thing I want to show you guys, I know there's been a lot of quite confusing shots of this guy on the Tinterweb. I have here the Age of Extinction leader Grimlock. There we go. Oh, this is brilliant. Yes, just to give you guys an idea, let's go tail to tail. Tail to tail, he is shorter, but leg up wise, I mean, that's way more of a Grimlock, isn't it? I mean, these have a good old head-butting session. Doosh, doosh, doosh. Just to give you guys an idea of scale. It's a really good representation of not Grimlock, to tell you the truth. Fantastic light piping found in the head here. Plastic quality, he's heavy, he's really dense. He's pretty much on par with some of the stuff you get from Hasbro, I'd say. The tail itself is a little bit hollow, but you'll see why, because it folds out into a shield, and I'll show you all that. But his actual build quality, all the joints are tight, the paint applications are impeccable. He's been done very professionally. I was really worried that he was going to be one of these cheapy knockoffs, and he doesn't quite feel as dense as, say, some of the Hercules figures, which obviously TSC were involved with, but he's way up there. I'm really, truly impressed. It's a shame about some of the visible screws. Maybe they could have kind of capped those, I don't know. Maybe they're on a budget, but it's nice that he's got an articulated jaw. I just want to take you in on that face. I mean, that's a face only a mother could love, isn't it? Fantastic. I mean, these teeth are sharp. I mean, really sharp. I mean, look at the indent on my finger. And he's got fire breath in there as well. Look, the cannon can actually move up and down. You can aim that. The head does rotate. I mean, it's all part of the transformation, and you do have visible fists in there. But the little tiny T-Rex arms are on a ball joint there. You can't go overly far out, but you've got a really good range. The legs themselves are just on a swivel, back and forward, no in and out motion. Got a really nice deep bend at the knee. Obviously, the further you go, you do expose the combining ports. And a nice forward and back motion on the foot. No ankle pivot. You know what? I can let that slide. I really, really can. Each figure comes with an accessory. Grimlock actually has the least. Everybody else has like loads of weapons and like fists and feet. Grimlock comes with this kind of end section, this section here, and this section here. This is obviously a sword. This is some piece of like a staff or something. I just joined them all together. I haven't found a way of attaching these in dinosaur mode. Now, obviously, I'm the first person that I know of to review this figure, so hopefully I'll post it up on the forum, and as people get this in hand, they'll be able to just comment and link on the TFW forum, and just kind of give everybody else hints and tips, because I mean it does plug in. I mean the ports are just standard size ports, so everything kind of plugs in the same as it would with your regular Transformers. I mean, that's a little bit loose on the leg. I think it's slightly smaller. It doesn't really appear to be anywhere obvious. See, that's a bit of a downside, isn't it? But he does look good. I mean, the price I paid for this set, I mean, I spent that on the leader Grimlock. And here he is with my new favourite Dinobot, Strafe. What a gorgeous pair. Let's see what Grimlock looks like in his bot mode, shall we? Transforming Grimlock should be pretty straightforward. First of all, we slide this tail section down. It's basically a slider there and a slider at the bottom which fits over this tab here and this tab here. You then want to straighten up Grimlock's legs like so. Rotate the belly section all the way round, so it's like so. Right, your next stage is to come around this side here, and you're going to need nails or some kind of blunt things to pop that out, because the peg here and the peg that pegs into the side is pretty tight. So let's go around and do that on the other side. Get your nail under there and just pop that out like so. Right, come around to this side, and it is really stiff the first few times you do it, just because it is pegged in so well. But basically just pry these sections apart, and these two are just pegged in together. You'll see the peg as I pull them apart. Just this one here and this one here. I mean, I've got no fear of breaking this. This is so solid. It's kind of crazy solid. Pull these side sections down there, and there's a hinge there. They just fold over and they come back onto the calves. Let's do that for both sides. And onto this calf. And then we can come around to this arm. And if you can see here, there's this separate section here. These are basically on a... Oh, such a nice tight ratchet joint. Oh. Boom! There we go. Next step done. You can now pull down this arm section, put it down and rotate it down. And they're basically your arms. Again, get your nail or like a pair of tweezers or something just to pull up this head section, because it is quite tight. And there's your face reveal. So the dino head is on this rocker hinge. You pull the hinge forward so it's down, and then you push the hinge back so the dino head collapses into the chest like so. You just fold these arms back, and they should, there's a little peg just there, they'll just peg back into the torso, he says. There we go, that's one. And there's two. They're in. There's his arms, there's his legs, and of course we take his tail, split the tail in two, and instantly gives us a shield. He is not Grimlock in bot mode. I actually really like him. He actually looks, with these chunky shoulders, he actually really looks like a cross between the G1 Grimlock and the War Within Grimlock, the kind of titanium one with the big tank treads. I've pegged these shoulders in. It doesn't really make it very clear in the instructions whether they need to be pegged in, whether they're left sideways on. It's not really that clear. But unfortunately, because I've pegged them in, you then don't have any up and down movement on the shoulders. It's kind of limited to kind of forward and back using the ratchet joint. And you've got a double hinged elbow. You've got a swivel at the wrist, albeit it's fairly minimal. You've got a fantastic head sculpt, look at that. That is brilliant. You've got an up and down movement due to the transformation, and you've got a left and right movement. You've got a huge dinosaur in the chest. He's got a waist swivel. You've got forward and back, in and out on the thighs. A nice deep knee joint there, same knee joint as we used for the dinosaur, and again with the feet. All in all, bot mode, yeah, I really like it. It's pretty impressive. I think he's a good size. He looks really good on display, and he's kind of carrying across that night vibe that we're getting from the Age of Extinction figures, which I think is kind of relevant and kind of cool. The shield, yeah, it's a little bland, not really much going on with it. And I haven't really found a way of fitting both weapons. I mean, I suppose I could take the shield out, place it in the arm, and then have this weapon in his hands somehow, like a gun or something like that. I think he's got it as kind of a gun on the instructions, but I'd just like to have him with a sword and shield. And if I hadn't have lost the connector, we could have popped the shield in there, couldn't we? Ah, silly me. All in all, very, very impressed with Grimlock. He really does look the part. As you can see, you can also tab the little arms into the back of the shell section there. And I just think he's a good figure. He's really solid. And yeah, shame on you, Hasbro. A Chinese company has absolutely knocked the socks off you. If you look at the weapons, the nearest we're going to get to combining all the weapons together in Grimlock mode, just put this on here, plug that into the sword, then come onto the top here. We can put like this axe just over the kind of top like that, and we've got kind of a big axe sword. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Next on the list we have Slag, or Slug as he's now called, or not either. He's the Triceratops of the group, and probably one of my favourite of these. He looks amazing. He's a fantastic sculpt. The build is absolutely perfect. He's really stocky. He's just a really nice Dinobot. I mean, if you just look at the front section there, I mean, that, even this section here, that just screams, put an Autobot logo on me. Yes. It's got the up and down motion on the jaw. The face sculpt is phenomenal. It really is. I love this this fin of bone around the neck there. He's got ball jointed arms with a bend above the knee and kind of a bendable foot plate. Again, with the back legs, they go out so you can kind of, goes me. You've got the bending knee. You've got the slight pivot in the foot. Not a great deal there. It's kind of just like a pin there, which just allows it to rock back and forth at that point. And nothing on the tail. I would have liked a little bit, yeah, that comes off. I would have liked a bit of a kind of left and right motion on the tail, but he does look very good, doesn't he? That's really, really nice. Give you an idea of scale for him. Again, I'll bring in Strafe, my favourite of the Dinobots. I mean, he's going to fit right in whether you collect Generations figures or movie figures or just the movie dinos. I mean, he even looks the part. fantastic. Let's get straight out of the picture. Let's have a look at the accessories that come with Slag. First of all, we get the first look at one of the fists. Do these look familiar? Yeah, they are very, very similar to what we got with Hercules. Now the fingers are all on the same hinge. There's just a single hinge there. The thumb is still a pull across thumb. And look, it's the same connectors. That does bode well if you've got the Rage of Hercules set though, because you can really beef this guy up in alt mode. He comes with a kind of cannon launcher. He's got this kind of shaft section, and he's got this sword and this kind of cross section here. So he's either super religious or he's got a really, really nice kind of spear sort of thing going on here. But it's a fairly good weapon. Again, these are all really nice and sharp, made of really good plastic. These feel very much like the TFC war upgrades. So yeah, they've done a really good job with these. Again, Not Slag has a really nice transformation. We start by pulling off the tail. We're then going to do pretty much exactly what we did with Grimlock. We're going to lift the feet up, like so. And they do kind of swivel round a bit, like that. So he's got a kind of a wide-ish stance. We're then going to rotate this body, like so. We're going to lift both of his arms up. So he's kind of like, making sure the arms are clear. You can then open up these two side panels, like so. These side panels are on kind of an extending hinge. You can pull those out and pull them back so they get nice and clear of those arms. We can now pull the arms back down at the shoulder, like so. Swivel at the bicep, flick it up, flick open the fist, and that's pretty much our arms. Come around to the back. You want to pull this back section forward. It's on the hinge there. That then reveals this hinge here. Again, just spin those round there, and you've got the legs. Let's just make sure they're both the same way, like so. And then you want to just rotate that waist back again. And there we go, that's pretty much the leg section. Oh, look at that. Recognise that port, anybody? You need to flick open the heel spurs as well on these. It's a really, really tight fit under there. I needed a pair of tweezers just to pull that back. Fold down the mouthguard again. It's on a hinge which covers up that port. And there we go. Again, a really, really nice knight-like face sculpt there. The paint application on the underside of the mouth and the ridge of the mouth is kind of next to none. That's a bit of a shame. I would like a little something there. You've got a little bit of movement on the head. You can move it left and right. Kind of really restricted by the Triceratops head being in the way. Good range of movement on the shoulders. You've got a nice bend at the elbow there. Up and down motion on the fists, but no swivel or rotation. You've got a waist swivel. Thighs go all the way out, all the way forward. You've got a bend at the thigh, a rotation at the thigh, a nice bend at the knee, and a nice kind of rock again at the foot, same as what you got with the beast mode. Now, of course, we have the tail section like we did with Grimlock, which we can just pull open, he says, like so. And exactly the same as Grimlock, it forms his shield. So we'll put the shield in his hand. Again, really loving the knight's aesthetic they've gone for here. And if we grab his weapons, and there we go, with sword in hand, he looks fantastic. Really, really like these. This is probably one of my favourite of the team. Looks really, really nice. I'd love to see this guy painted up in G1 colours. Next in the list we have Sludge, or not Sludge, the Apatosaurus. I think he's an Apatosaurus, something like that. Again, really, really nice G1-esque mould. Actually, I think if you painted these up, these could probably pass as Fall of Cybertron. You know, I think they're kind of high-tech enough. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the description below. Yeah, mouth does kind of open. Yes. Yeah, God, that was stiff. Yes, his mouth does open. There we go. I didn't think it did. Love the detailing on this guy, how they've pinged out all these orange stripes along there. It looks really, really nice. It really does remind me of Fall of Cybertron. He's got a little bit of outward motion on these legs here. He's got the bend at the elbow. He's got that mouth motion. Nothing on the head. No swivel on the head. Nothing on the tail. Back legs, a little bit of in and out, not a great deal. And a bend at the knee. So his articulation's a little bit more limited than the rest, but still a very, very impressive figure to look at. Now, with his accessories, it's the first time we get to see the feet. There we go. Look at the size of that for a foot. That's huge. That's huge. It's an absolutely massive foot. He also comes with what would appear to be another kind of gun, another lance, another connector, and again this kind of cross and this sword, so we can kind of put that in like that. Really nice weapons, again really sticking to that kind of knight aesthetic. And here's Strafe for good measure. Now Sludge's tail is a little bit more complex to detach. It's basically attached on the inside of the legs, so you need to just split the inside of those legs slightly, and you can then just pull it out. So let's just pop that out and just slide the tail out like so. Guess what we're going to do with the tail? We're going to split it in two. Boom! There's a shield. As you can see, I've started to split this figure here. It's just pegged in here, here and here. Split that and fold all of that section out like so. Plug this section down like so. It doesn't click in, it just kind of places itself in. And you'll swivel that round like so. Flip the chest section down. You've got basically what are going to be the arms here. Just fold those out and splay the hands like so. At least you've got some shoulders with this guy. That's always a good sign, isn't it? Now, this part of the transformation I really like. It's actually really ingenious. You pop the head up, and this whole section here lifts up. And there's a joint here and a joint here, and it basically just folds all the way back on itself and comes back. I just think that's a really, really good little touch. And you've got the head there. So you need to flick the head forward, and ta-da! Yet another absolutely awesome head sculpt. Fold these leg sections together like so to get them out of the way, and there we can split open his legs, and there we go. There he is. He's actually really sturdy. That actually surprises me. Right, we've got head swivel, a little bit of a nod due to the transformation, really nice wide movement on these shoulders, probably the best articulation we've seen so far. We've got swivel up at the upper bicep there, got a bend at the elbow, an up and down movement on the wrist, but you do have a clear open palm there, so you could probably get another pole or something and put it underneath that hand. You do have a waist swivel, although my waist hinge there is really loose. I don't like the fact that that's quite loose. You've got a kind of in and out ball joint at the thigh again, a swivel just above the knee, and a nice deep bend at the knee. So all in all, yes, he is pretty darn awesome. Next we have Snarl. Snarl's kind of one of my least impressive ones. He's just a bit short. I'd expect him to be a little bit longer. He's got little stumpy front legs, albeit the front legs do exactly what they need to. They act as legs. They kind of swivel in and out on this hinge here. They've got a bend at the knee. Again, like the other Dinobots, he does have a mouth with some light piping. Lovely, lovely kind of thorns. Would they be called thorns? Kind of the... I don't know, well, he's a stegosaur, isn't he? So, steggy bits along the back. All the way down to the tail. No swivel or anything on the tail. In and out motion on the rear legs, and a nice bend at the knee. It's just a really nice Stegosaur. Again, loving the vibrant green on this. It really does scream Fall of Cybertron to me. It looks fantastic. Let's bring in our good old reliable strafe for a size comparison. Boom. See, fits in perfectly. They have yet to do any wrong. With Snarl, we can see we get the second of the feet. I mean, just take a look at these feet. They are massive. Them are like Predator King size feet, aren't they? Really, really massive with the big explosive toes. Fantastic. Nice and solid. It's always a good sign. He gets his crucifix, kind of stabby energon sword. Gets his pole. Gets his small adapter. And again, he gets his like little cannon thing. So these are kind of becoming kind of common, aren't they? This is pretty much the done thing that come with these guys. So let's move all those out of the way and get him into his bot mode. What do we start with? The tail. Slide open the tail. Again, it's on a hinge. Let's fold it in half. There we have a shield. Really nice shield this time, though. Really nice and spiky. I like that one. I love these little battering spikes at the bottom here. See? Hasbro. The Chinese trust their children with sharp, pointy things. We're going to cut him in half. Oh, you thought I meant... Now I meant lengthways. Ah! You got to split his head open. Nice. Here and here. Pull those joints, exposing the innards of your robot. Right, so with the waist section, we want to fold it all the way down. You can see where this is going. You then rock this section here forward, and there's a peg there. Look, the peg's in. You can see we've kind of got legs. The next step is very similar to what we did with Sludge. You lift this section up, but this time we're going to pull this section forward like so. Come around to this side. You want to rotate the arms at the upper bicep, pop it down, pull the fist down, and flick this section down, and we can then flick up the head again, zoom in, boop. Really, really, really nice head sculpt there. Paint application's not so good on this guy. A little bit of flaking around there and above the nose, but again, fantastic light piping. Now, I'm not entirely sure if mine's been misassembled, but that would appear to be the front of the crotch. And, yeah, the legs seem to be around the wrong way. If I spin these round, like so, then the legs are back to front. It's no biggie, because I can just switch these out. It's just a screw in here and a screw in here. You switch the legs over, which I think I'm going to do now. That's better. Perfectionist. And just fold the back of the legs in there for more stability. You got a head, swivel left and right, nod up and down. Shoulders go all the way out, all the way around. Nice bend at the elbow, nice flick at the wrist. Waist swivel, no ab crunch. You've got thighs all the way out, nice rotation, nice bend at the knee. Pretty much the standard articulation. Again, pretty much identical as to what we got with Sludge. And here he is with weapons in hand. Very menacing indeed, Snarl. Very menacing indeed. Last but not least, it's Swoop. They've done so well up until now. I mean, he looks gorgeous from up the top there. The blue on this guy, the electric blue, is phenomenal. It's absolutely stunning. Really is. I don't know if I kind of captured that on camera with the gold. It's a real good homage to G1 Swoop. And then you come round to the... Oh. Yeah. It's like, I got no legs. Nah. That's pretty much it. That's the underside of the bot mode. He has no rear feet at all. They could have had like, I'm sure they could have something mounted on here, just flip down, or I don't know. He's got the huge jawline there, and again, a truly fantastic sculpt on the head. Love that use of the blue, and then the eyes again with the light piping going through, all the way through the horn. It looks absolutely incredible. He looks fantastic until you get to the underside. It's such a disappointment. He looks very much like Socceridge from Brave Gold Run. He had kind of like next to no legs as well, and Just kind of brings back that vibe to me. Here he is with Strafe. Obviously Strafe is a little bit bigger because he has legs. Now Swoop comes with a little bit more weapons than others. He comes with the big hunky chunky monkey fists that we saw earlier on. He comes with this kind of gun thing. He comes with the prop end of the spears. He comes with the sword and the middle section, and this section here that we kind of came with Grimlock. And we then get this sword and the cross again, so we can kind of put all of that together and we can make some huge monster weapon. Again, all of these feel really, really nice. All the front of this section is really solid, but the legs on Swoop do feel a little bit thinner. They kind of feel like they're made of the same sort of material as what the tail on Grimlock was made of, which is very similar to the back panels on for the Cybertron Grimlock, that sort of plastic. Anyway, let's get him transformed. Doesn't take a rocket scientist. We're gonna bend his legs down like so. That's pretty much most of the transformation done. The claw side talons on the legs are removable if you wish to remove them. You can just pop those out. I just like to swing them up and keep them out of the way for now. Now bring the arm down, claw up, fist out. You want to pull these wing sections up like so. So you've got a nice long wingspan there. And then we can just flip the head down. It's on a rocker again. So flip that there. And then split that joint there, pulling that section down and revealing what on earth is that? Yeah, probably the weakest of the heads, I would say. Swoop, why do you have big bits sticking out of your head? Yeah, Swoop does, Swoop does. He's not all that bad once you get rid of the big ears, I guess. Does his body looks good though, doesn't he? He's blatantly Swoop. It's not a bad figure. He does feel a little bit hollower than the rest. Head moves left and right. No real up and down movement on there. Nice range of movement on the shoulders. Upper bicep swivel. Nice bend at the elbow. Waist swivel. Nice range of movement on those thighs, nice bend at the knee, and you've got a toe pivot there as well because it's part of the transformation. Just wondering if we could do anything about these rockets on the wings, whether they are removable or not. Don't know, they don't really want to seem to come out. They do move left and right, so you can kind of position them better on the wings, but I can't seem to get those rockets out. So I don't think they're detachable, I'm afraid. Dive Bomb. Dive Bomb, that's who that looks like, isn't it? That is Dive Bomb's head. Nice little touch, not necessary really, but you can pull the wing section off and you can attach it in these pegs like that, so you kind of got it on that arm, almost like one of the sweeps, I guess. I don't really know. I prefer it on the back. Right, now Swoop doesn't come with a shield, so he has these two swords. That's pretty much his bot mode, with him wielding his weapons. The only step now is to show you them all in bot mode and then to combine them. And here they are, all in robot mode together as a motley crew. And you see what I mean, how well they fit in with the Generation Skyline. They're all really big deluxes. And Grimlock's possibly a Voyage. I mean, you've got Springer there. Ideally, I could have done with an Ironhide to go on a little mission with the with the Dinobots, but you know, they look good. They really do look good. I am so happy with these guys. I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep them in robot mode or in dinosaur mode, or possibly even the combined mode. We'll see. Let's take a look now and see how well these guys go into their combined form. Right, combined form. Not going to lie to you, the instructions for this are pretty pants. They kind of give us that. They said, that's how you combine it. Right, yeah, all the instructions are the same. I'll try my best. I'm going to have to refer back to some pictures, I think, but we're going to give it a pretty good go. First thing we need to do, we need to get rid of Grimlock's weapons. So we'll get rid of his sword, and we'll get rid of the shield. Whilst transforming, I've noticed he actually has a kind of swivel groin section. It's incredibly tight. And I'm not sure if it's meant to, but if you slide that up whilst pushing this one down, you give him a much better thigh section like this, so it gives him a lot more height and a lot more posability. See, doesn't that look a lot better? Well, better late than never, I guess. Right, your next step is to get the head. I'm going to rock that on that rocker again, and you want to snuggle that in like so, so the head is facing down. You can then bring this arm round, give it a little rotate, and you see there's a peg here and a peg on the arm there. Just flip that up and peg that in like so. That's your arms pretty much done. You can then bring these thigh guards up. Now it's asking me to widen the legs. I'm not really sure if I want to widen the legs yet. Oh, okay, we'll widen the legs for the purpose of the review, but I really do think he looks a lot nicer with this kind of added movement and that. So to widen the legs, we want to pull this up and rotate that switched round like so. Be really careful there. I mean, mine was super crazy tight, but I'm just so glad I eventually found it. Oh, God, you hear that? There we go. Me Grimlock have wide stance. These thigh guards actually peg in. There's a small clip that pegs into this, this guard here. You could then flip this like so and flip that up round to the back of the legs, revealing your combiner ports. There's a small tab just inside here as well, and there's one on the head. You can just push that in like so, and that pulls them in nice and close and tight to the head. Next up, the rest of the guys pretty much go into their Dino modes. Don't put any of their tails back on. You want to put this little clip in this tail section as well. Plug these legs together. Easier said than done. Have his legs kind of folded out of the way. Fold this head section back like so. Make sure this is still all pegged together. This guy has a tendency of kind of popping apart. And where you plugged that section in there, we want to plug that in. He says, oh, it's not going to be easy for me to do on camera, is it? Right. There we go. Trials and tribulations of Ben trying to transform a Dinobot. Trial and error. We'll put it on the foot first. Not going to lie, I mean, that's really kind of loose and looks to me like a huge afterthought. But, I mean, it stands, so I guess that's a start. We're going to do exactly the same thing with Snarl. Get him pretty much into his Dino mode. Keep the head split, though, because where the joins are here, this is where the clip is going to fit again. So I'm going to stick it in the foot to begin with and detach the tail, because obviously keeping the tail off reveals the combining port. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. It would appear that the where this plugs into these pegs here, the screws that are inside here are actually too big, and they're stopping this from closing fully. They're kind of just in the way. That is the only way of making it combine, so it's going to have a split down the front, which I'm a little bit disappointed with. Actually, no, I'm kind of really disappointed with. After we've got those like that, we may as well join them with Grimlock. So we'll bring Grimlock in here, and we'll plug him in like so. Right, well the legs are in, but I'm starting to notice problems. This leg seems to be longer than the other. Both the joints are in correctly, and he's standing a bit. But we'll see how it goes when we get him into full combined form. Now, Slag is a little bit easier to understand. You kind of get him semi-transformed. You've got the chest piece sticking out there. You've still got the back piece of the Dino mode in. The arms are just straight. The legs are swiveled round because you've actually got proper ports to put the fists in. So let's grab a fist. We'll plug. He says, let's move the feet back like so. Right, let's plug that one in there like that, and then that one goes in there like so. Ooh, that's nice. Oh yeah, this one feels a lot better. And we're just going to plug the arm into Grimlock's port like so. Again, with Swoop, we have him semi-transformed, his arms kind of folded up there. His legs, again, are swiveled round, and the ports did have those kind of spiky sections in, and now we can then bring the fist joint in. And is it going to let me plug that into there? No, of course it's not, is it? Let's put that around the right way for a start, shall we? So that goes in there like so. There. And there, so it plugs in the kneecaps and at the feet, like that. Push the feet forward, and then we can come in and plug the hand back in. Well, that plugs in really, really well, doesn't it? That's a little loose. Oh dear. The wings are popped off and placed on the arms, like so. And fingers crossed that the fist stays in. We'll just plug this port in like so. Wow, he does not want to stand up very well. There he is, everything's kind of pegged in. I'm a little bit scared that he's going to fall apart on me. The arms and that hold together really nicely. Obviously this hand is loose, that's something I could easily rectify with a really small layer of like furniture polish or nail varnish, clear nail varnish, just to thicken up the peg slightly, let it dry and then pop that in. That's not a problem. My big gripe is those legs. I don't know whether I've completely missed something. They just do not want to kind of peg in very well, and they just don't appear to be very even. I mean, height-wise, it's a good size for a combiner, and he looks fantastic on the shelf. I mean, you take Springer. I mean, he's imposing. He's a really big guy. The ports seem very accessible, so they pretty much are identical to that of Hercules. So if you've got the Rage of Hercules kit, yes, you can put this on this guy, which would help, I think, because it would bring his shoulders out a bit more, stop them rubbing together. But I don't know what we're going to be able to do about those feet. It's really disheartening. It just doesn't seem to want to work, which is a shame, because, well, you know, it would have been nice to have a figure that doesn't have a tendency to shelf dive, I guess. He does look good in this mode, doesn't he? Let's get Springer out of the way. Obviously, it uses the joints of the previous figures to use for articulation there. The bot head does look a tad small. I think he would have looked better with the maybe a helmet or something on there. Just something a little bit different to Grimlock's normal head. Other than that, he is a really nice figure. I'm very, very impressed by the overall build quality. Nitpicks aside, I feel they've somewhat rushed the joints. They've kind of thought, oh yeah, there's screw holes there, they will work. Well, they don't. And it does affect the stability of this guy. He just won't stand up straight. At the moment, I've got him kind of poised with one foot in front of the other, which works, but we shouldn't have to do that, should we? As for the weapons, there's no instructions as to what to kind of make, so yeah, I've kind of just made up my own sort of thing. You just kind of join them all together. I mean, there's absolutely loads in here. You can make some sort of Cybertronian sword, or I've made some sort of Cybertronian long-distance rifle, maybe, and you've still got extra bits left over. Another gripe, it doesn't appear to be a way of combining the shields together. I would have liked a connector so I can join all the shields together to make some sort of super shield. But nope. No, nothing at all, which, really, I mean, surely it wouldn't have taken much, would it? See, now that doesn't look completely horrible, does it? Screams kind of Predaking to me, doesn't it? If he could have these mounted on his arms, something like that would be nice. Kind of like the big dual long arm blasters that Predaking has. But all in all, I mean, I am happy with the guy. At the end of the day, he's probably about, what, £45, something like that, wasn't it? and that's an incredible price. You're getting a lot of toy for that money. But obviously it's not without its faults. So I've picked up on. I'm hoping that as more and more people get this guy, we can kind of group together on the TFW forum, which the link is in the description below. We'll kind of group together and we'll figure out ways of fixing the faults, and we're going to make this one heck of a toy. Sorry it's been a long-winded video, guys, but there's a heck of a lot to fit in. If I haven't answered your questions that you've posted, I am sorry. I have tried to get it all in. I don't have a lot of bots to compare him with. So hopefully we'll all kind of flood the forum with pictures and hints and tips, and we're going to get this guy top notch. Thanks for watching, people. I'm going to leave you with a load of pictures of them in their bot modes, and I'll also see if I can find a way of mounting any of their weapons on their Dino modes as well, and I'll throw a couple of pictures of that in as well. So until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye.